Hi, I'm Tara Palmeri. I am a political journalist who has covered President Trump since I was 22 years old, and I was a cub reporter at the New York Post. I went on to become a White House correspondent for ABC News, flying on Air Force One with him, and I am now calling sources close to the president ever since he made the shocking decision to drop 3 bombs on Iran's nuclear facilities. This was after stalling, offering a fig leaf to Iran, and trying to get them to come to the table. I spoke to Steve Bannon today, who is an advisor to President Trump and really the standard bearer of the MAGA movement, which is going through a civil war over President Trump's decision to go into the Middle East and follow Israel. After all, President Trump ran on the America First principle, and part of that principle is no foreign wars, no engagement abroad. This was a very big tenet for his followers. After all, President Trump called the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq pointless wars, and he blamed George W. Bush when he ran for president. This is a huge part of the reason why his base is close to him. And people like Tucker Carlson and Steve Bannon have been very wary of getting involved in foreign wars abroad. In fact, they've tried to root out the quote unquote neocons around him. But just 2 days after President Trump announced he was giving himself a 2-week deadline to decide whether to follow Israel into Iran and take out the rest of the facilities, he decided to do it. And let's not forget that this is something that President Trump has long said he wanted to do. In his 2011 book, Time to Get Tough, he wrote that America should prioritize dismantling Iran's nuclear capabilities. And I'm sure it helps that Israel's Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, has been spending a lot of time on the U.S. airwaves, specifically Trump's favorite channel, Fox News, flattering him, calling him a decisive leader, saying that he's the junior partner and he just wants to get him to come along with him to finish off Iran's nuclear program once and for all, that they finally have a moment to do so when Iran is weak. So President Trump decided to go along with Israel, not just dropping one 30,000-pound bunker-busting bomb that would go into the Fordow facility that's buried deep into the mountains of Iran, where there is supposed to be uranium enrichment happening. The U.S. was the only country that had the bomb with the capability to actually burrow itself into the mountain to reach the levels and the depth of this uranium enrichment facility. But they also decided to bomb 2 other facilities, the Natanz and the Esfahan facilities. It seemed like for a while, Trump and Netanyahu were playing good cop and bad cop, with President Trump trying to get Iran to come to the table. But it seems that he ultimately followed Netanyahu. He did it without the approval of Congress. And it's something that Democrats like Congressman Sean Casten of Illinois says is completely unconstitutional. They are saying it is an impeachable offense for a sitting president to decide to carry out an attack on a country that does not pose an imminent threat to the U.S. Now, I'm sure President Trump can claim that the imminent threat was to him personally. After all, Iran had placed death threats on his life. But there are Republicans, too, like Congressman Tom Massey, who have called President Trump's unilateral decision unconstitutional. They have said no president has the authority to drop a bomb on another country that does not pose an imminent threat without the approval of Congress. It's something that Congress has been talking about for the past week. Now, the Islamic Republic of Iran, which has been downplaying the effects of the war with Israel, put out a statement saying they have no concern about radiation leakage at the nuclear sites. And it's unclear how MAGA leader Steve Bannon was informed before anyone else about this attack. Now, Steve was at the White House on Thursday, but I did text him to ask him, how did he know before really congressional leaders and everyone else? And he said to me, quote, "The party is on." Now, I don't know if it's a party. In fact, what I'm seeing and what I'm hearing is unrest in the MAGA coalition. You have to remember, a lot of these people are libertarians. They're anti-establishment. They voted for President Trump, some of them former Bernie bros, because they did not want to get involved in the Middle East. You know, it's interesting to see, too, how J.D. Vance, who's also been a standard bearer for the party and is looking to 2028 to run himself, how he will handle this, because this is against what he has called for. He has been America First isolationism through and through. President Trump, of course, is framing it in his own way, saying this is not a war. This is a strike, you could say. He put out a message on Truth Social saying, quote, There is not another military in the world that could have done this. Now is the time for peace. This certainly sounds like President Trump's mission accomplished moment. No? Thanks for listening to the Tara Palmeri Show. I want to hear from you and what you think about all of this. Leave some comments below, like and share this with your friends. I'll be back again soon with an update. I want to thank my producer, Eric Abinate, for getting on the line and getting this out to you ASAP. It is a developing story, so I will try to stay in touch with you. You can follow me on Substack by going to tarapalmeri.com. You can go to the red letter where I will continue to be posting on my notes and on my posts. You can also check my Twitter at Tara Palmeri and my Instagram at Tara Palmeri, and Threads and Blue Sky and TikTok, where I will continue to update. Thank you.